Welcome to Walking with Spirit with Dr. Ruth Anderson on the International Angels Network. Today is Thursday, July 5th, 2018. I am your host, Ruth Anderson, and I'm coming to you live from Colorado. I'm an author and a spiritual counselor providing individualized transformational experiences for my clients using Holy Fire Reiki, energy work, and connection with the spiritual divinity, including the Divine Mother, Archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Here at International Angels Network, we explore spirituality, angels, spirit guides, our loved ones on the other side, and much more. Our radio podcasts are available to you on Podbean, Stitcher, and Google Play. These are all easy sites to use and make it really simple to listen to our archive shows. Tonight is the last week of our 5-week mini-series with guest Linda Dierks. Linda will be leading us in our learning about self-esteem, energy, and spirituality, and how together they can propel us into stepping into our authentic power. Linda is both inspirational and motivating. This episode of International Angels Network is sponsored by Holistic Light Rejuvenation Center. For more information, visit holisticrejuvenate.com. Sunday Sturgeon is the founder and CEO of Holistic Light Rejuvenation Center and is a host on our network. We are pleased to announce that International Angels Network is now also sponsored by Audible by Amazon. If you go to www.audibletrial.com/International Angels Network, you can get a free audiobook. So please check that out today. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen in. This show is called Walking with Spirit. Walking with Spirit means consciously living in the physical realm with frequent connection to the divinity in the spirit realm and being open to all that they want me to experience. Every day I check in with my guides, Divine Mother and God, sometimes seeking guidance, sometimes seeking connection, and sometimes seeking their healing abilities. Many days I receive lessons by hearing, seeing, or feeling signs coming in from the energetic realm. I never know what my day is going to look like or what the next learning might be. Each week I share a story about an experience I had while walking with Spirit. This story is about using energy work and attention to spirit while raising children. I have 2 amazing daughters. That being said, over the past 16 years, I have certainly had moments that drew on my very last nerve and parenting skill in my toolbox. Trying to stay grounded and resonating in higher vibrational frequencies has sometimes been very challenging. Of course, sometimes I failed miserably, got triggered, and said things I wished I hadn't. I have discovered a few tricks that help me stay at higher frequencies when I remember to utilize them. As an intuitive, I have seen a vision of each of my daughters in the forms of their highest selves. Both girls are intuitive in nature, have high aspirations for their futures, and ultimately want a loving connection with us, their parents. Their higher selves are loving, respectful, and kind. This vision doesn't always match the girls that I am looking at in the physical. When that is the case, it would be easy to lower my energetic frequencies and gripe, complain, or criticize. I stop myself, check my thoughts and words. Sometimes I need to stop and reframe frequently, keeping the long-term vision of their higher selves in mind. When their behaviors get difficult, I try to remain calm and envision that I am connecting with their higher selves. When I do that, my words are more accepting and respectful. When my daughters are met with genuine love, it allows them to, once emotions are calmed, then the core issues can be discussed at a later time. Using the colors of the chakra energy centers can be helpful for avoiding arguments. When my oldest was very young, there were times when it seemed she was purposefully picking fights with me. If I tried to deflect the argument, she would come up with another reason to argue. She escalated in her attempts until she was frustrated enough to cry. Perhaps maybe that is all she really needed all along, a good cry. Once I learned to read energy, I noticed that when my daughter was arguing with me, she was intentionally matching her energy to mine. I don't even know if she knew what she was doing, but that's what was happening. By fighting with me in my energy level, she could very easily snag my emotions and get me to fight with her. It was brilliant, really. Once I realized that, it was easy to switch my energetic frequency to match a different color of the chakras. Because our vibrational frequencies were then not matching, it was harder for her to ensnare me emotionally. One day when my daughter was 2 years old, she gave me a run for my money. She was griping over the choice of having orange juice or milk for breakfast. Either option was fine with me. Both would have been great. She argued that she wanted milk, even though I was readily serving it to her. As soon as she received it, she screamed that she needed orange juice. I tried not to laugh. It was so clear that she just wanted a verbal tug-of-war. As her tantrums continued, I surrounded myself with a calming blue aura to keep myself calm and not get triggered. She tried to get me to fight and somehow unconsciously knew how to change her energy to match the color of mine in hopes of reeling me in. Once I realized that she was capable of doing that, I thought to myself, abort blue, go to red. Within minutes, she had matched my red energy and was trying again to implore me to argue back. I thought, abort red, go to yellow. She quickly matched my vibrational frequencies at yellow and continued with the verbal onslaught. Now keep in mind, this is a 2-year-old. Abort yellow, go green. By that time, I was giggling at how silly the conversation in my head was sounding. Because I giggled, my daughter started to laugh as well. I found that running energy through my body and aura in colored frequencies to not match someone else's has been very effective for de-escalating tension. As an aside, I think when we are empathetic, we purposefully match someone else's energy. By doing so, we are able to connect more fully with them. When my daughters were 5 and 7 years old, the end of the school day was marked with bickering and angst. As soon as they got in the car, their abilities to hold their composure was spent. I was left with 2 stressed-out, cranky girls. I remembered Maslow's hierarchy. If they were hungry, tired, or emotionally worn, there was no hope for peace. I started carrying snacks and chewing gum in the car. Something as simple as nourishment and a quick way to dissipate tension worked wonders for them and for me. The very best thing I ever did was to run across a brilliant saying, "What can I do at this very moment to strengthen my relationship with my child?" This phrase was incredibly effective. When I followed the advice, it worked wonders. I wrote it on 2 sticky notes. One was on the refrigerator, and the other was affixed to my dashboard. Those sticky notes were in place for a few years until the girls learned how to read. Strengthening the relationship did not mean giving up and giving them their way. It meant continuing to show them that I loved them. My connection with them, even though they were going through a difficult time, was paramount. Working to strengthen a relationship is higher vibrationally than unconsciously damaging or destroying a relationship. Even with teenagers, I try to keep that advice in mind. And we have not faced an insurmountable challenge that we could not talk our way through when we concentrated on the loving intention of staying connected. So thank you for listening. I would now like to tell you about Linda Dierks, our guest host for this 5-week mini-series, Step Into Your Power. Linda comes to us with a career in corporate America. She spent the bulk of her career as the director of a regional chamber of commerce, worked for a counseling program, and as the director of a small college. Her decade-long journey of discovery started as a cancer patient, disabled by fear and depression. After studying several alternative health modalities and wellness philosophies, she found accelerated healing and joy in the integration of science and spirituality, and now helps others achieve self-empowered physical and mental wellness. Linda is a pioneer of self-wellness through the mechanics of energy, power of thought, and love. As a speaker and author, she illustrates and models the methods behind her triumph over illness and depression. Linda's passion is teaching energy medicine workshops for people suffering from cancer and major illness, addressing stress and substance abuse, and enhancing intuition, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Linda's writing have been featured in the March edition of Guide for Spiritual Living, Science of Mind magazine. Her article, titled Growing Through Adversity, Finding the Gift in Illness, Adversity, and Spirituality, is truly inspiring. This article and her blog, Creating Joy and Wellness, are both available on her website, spinstrawtogoldnow.com. So without further delay, it is my true honor to welcome Linda Dierks. Good evening, Linda.
Hi, good evening, Ruth. It's so lovely to be here. And somewhat sad to wrap up our 5th week. But first, I want to mention, I love the account that you gave about interacting with your children. It would be wonderful for you to write that up and submit it to Parenting Magazine. I think a lot of people could benefit from that, as progressive as it is. I also wanted to mention it was you that taught me that technique of higher self to higher self communication. And I've been using that recently with someone who is passing away, and I find that extremely effective. So I want to pass that along to our listeners also. And first, I'm going to read from the last of our segments called Engage, Expand, Express. Like a cork rising to the surface, it's our nature to expand to our fullest expression and potential. And our foundation for this growth is personal empowerment and self-esteem. Embrace all of life's possibilities by incorporating these tools. Balance stone upon stone to build a stupa of personal power. Know yourself. Establish a platform by defining who you are. Embrace your gifts. Honor your skills and grab the fruit of boundless potential and possibilities. Love yourself. Trade the blockages of doubt and uncertainty for calm and confidence. Walk with spirit. You are a partner with a higher energetic force. And then our 4th topic tonight, engage, expand, express. Absorb and express to create an energetic loop of prosperity. Realization by realization, each step feeds to the next in an ever-escalating ladder of growth and expansion. We are here to be the fullest expression of the God force within us. I have learned that when you step up to the plate and invest your time and interest, the universe invests time and interest in you. When you accept the invitation to dance with your source, even the most subtle changes will bring enormous results. Practice and you become a craftsman. Show up and shout it out. Take the plunge. Go out on a limb. Put on your cape. Read your poetry to the trees. Support and mentor others. You'll be rewarded with another rung up the ladder to personal growth, spiritual enlightenment, and personal empowerment. When you sing your song, when you outwardly express, you generate an energetic cycle of vitality that says to the universe, Give me more.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this Step Into Your Power series because I know that personal power and positive self-esteem are the foundation for creating joy and wellness. It anchors our authentic self, motivates us to be more, gives us resiliency in the face of adversity, increases our spiritual connection, and is the wellspring of mental and physical health. And my quote for this section came from my guide, actually. He said, "There was a great void waiting for you to fill it with possibility. Breathe in your power and feel your heart expand. You will feel great peace and fulfillment as you share this power with others. Interact with me. Come dance." That's been one of my favorite pieces. So
there's so much packed in there.
Well, there is, and we always joke about my packing 10,000 words into 3 quick paragraphs. So that's why it's nice to expand it on the radio program and get into each statement with a little more detail and a little more clarity. So as we expand and engage and express, we talk about like a cork rising to the surface. It's our nature to expand to our fullest expression and potential. We as conscious beings, we always want to achieve our highest and best. This is something that's been implanted in us, just like a flower whose sole expression is to blossom. Our potential is a void just waiting for us to fill it. And by the way, this potential is limitless. It's the only ceiling on this potential is our own set of beliefs or our own limitations. Remove those and you'll soar. A divine force is invested in our achieving our best. Remember that you are in a partnership with this. You were born into this process, and there's a higher force working with you. And our foundation for this growth is personal empowerment and self-esteem. Embrace all of life's possibilities by incorporating these tools. Balance stone upon stone and build a stupa of personal power. So, having risen from the ashes, I know that when you step into your power, this is the first and most essential step to achieving your full success, your expression. If you don't have personal power, everything that you gain just leaks away. It's like pouring sunlight and it coming through a sieve. It just drains away from you. You can send light to people, but they have to be willing to receive. And the same thing is true about your personal power. You have to embrace that, and then all the goodness will stick, and you can continue to build on that. Know yourself. Establish a platform by defining who you are. My guide once showed me that in each of us there is an energetic core, like a milky quartz crystal, and it had a radiant pillar of light, of different colors, of almost like a flavor and a beingness that is uniquely us. Each of us has this core of genuine uniqueness just ready to be expressed. And when you are authentic and genuine, you let this light shine. When you cloud your uniqueness or your genuine qualities, this light's going to dull. It's like putting a fog over it. So go out there and dare to be different. Become your divine self. We each are a sparkle of God that has never been duplicated in the past or will again. And I like thinking of all of us in that way as one unique sparkle of God happening just within us in this particular physical lifetime. Joseph Campbell had a great quote that said, "The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are." Embrace your gifts. Honor your skills and grab the fruit of boundless potential and possibility. And I go back to we were born with a set of talents, skills, and qualities as tools that were custom tailored for us to help us achieve both the lessons that we signed on to learn in this lifetime and to fulfill our life's purpose. Our life's purpose being that footprint that we'll leave behind. You and I talked previously about synchronistically we acquired certain skills in our lifetime, and now what we call panning for gold, we scoop them in and apply them to what we're doing today. And at the time, we may have thought that it was totally a fluke, but then later on, we find it's very helpful. Like my having been a DJ on my college radio station, and here I am doing a radio show with you today. Knowing yourself.
Linda,
go ahead.
Can we talk about, you had said your guide showed you that in each of us there is an energetic core, like a milky quartz crystal, a radiant pillar of light, flavor, color, and beingness that is uniquely you. And one of the things that I had written about in my first book, One Love, Divine Healing at Open Clinic, was I was taken out during meditation. I was taken out into the blackness of nowhere and everywhere all at once in, the ethereal realm. And I was taken back to the time before I was in utero with my mother. I was out on the threshold of what I call the I am. And what I had seen was that I was a pinpoint of light. And my pinpoint of light was like an apricot color. And what that told me was that actually corresponded to the chakra colors for me of the yellow of the third chakra, which is the center of self and self-esteem, and the second chakra, which is orange, which is creativity, emotions, sexuality, and sensuality. And what I saw was that before I came into this lifetime, it was determined that those were two concepts that would be continuing issues throughout this lifetime for my learning purposes. So when you talked there about having an energetic core, like a milky quartz crystal, a radiant pillar of light, it took me right back to that experience that I had through meditation. And do you think that resonates with what you're describing there, or are you describing something different?
No, actually, I think that it gives more depth to what I'm seeing, because as I was shown this image and the color and the luminescence inside it, the colors that are within that core likely will be colors that correspond with the chakra qualities that are most endowed in you in this lifetime. So that, and going back to satisfying our life's purpose and the lessons that we're intended to learn. So I think I think it just added another dimension to what I was seeing. Another thing to bring up too, I used to do aura readings and pull out colors, and of course that color that was represented for you in your 10-point of light and the colors that are being shown to me in the central core are also going to reflect in your energetic field. It's going to reflect in your aura field. So that's great. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
So, continuing, embrace your gifts. Honor your skills and grab the fruit of boundless potential and possibility. And here we go on the same topic. We were born with a set of talents, skills, and qualities as tools that were custom tailored. I love that, custom tailored, to help us achieve both the lessons we signed on to learn in this lifetime and to fulfill our life's purpose. Knowing yourself and your true gifts gives you a true compass in life. And I think this is important. You are given the gifts that are going to be somewhat like guideposts that are going to lead you down a certain path. What I always say is that ability and aptitude or interest and aptitude go hand in hand. What your aptitudes are, what your skills are, what your gifts are, they're going to feed your interest, and your interest is then going to feed your life learning and your soul's purpose. So these are just other compasses along the way to help you achieve these goals. And to ignore these gifts is to shut off the divine flow of good from our Creator. I think this is important to make sure that people, it's like you're stepping up to the plate and saying to the universe, I want more. When you embrace your gifts, you get into a deeper level of appreciation for who you are and a deeper involvement with that divine flow. So, of course, when you embrace and expand these gifts is to live life in its fullest expression. There's a great quote from an author that I read one time called Marlise Carlin, and she refers to it as living in the sweet spot of life.
Mm.
Sweet spot of life. To embrace your
Linda,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So I know you don't have kids of your own, although you've been around kids. You know lots of people with kids. Just a question. One of my daughters has a voice like an angel. And she used to do like the musical theater and, choir and all of that stuff. At this point, she's not doing any of those things. She will sing for her own enjoyment. But are you talking about gifts like things like singing or an aptitude in art, something like that? And then if you're actively not doing it, would you say that she's not fulfilling all that she could be? Or is it kind of like, well, maybe she's honing other gifts that maybe she didn't readily know because she was busy singing? What's your thought? As a mother, should I really keep trying to steer her in that way?
Well, I have two thoughts. One is that we are given gifts, and I might define those as the skills that you have. And we're also given qualities of kindness, compassion, nurturing. Take a look at this as one large bundle. I wouldn't want to look at a gift of having a voice of an angel that if you drop it temporarily, it's not going to come back at some point. It's not an exclusionary process. As you develop, you're not going to develop one gift and focus your attention on that all the time. I think it's important continuously expanding new gifts, and maybe at this time there's something new that's emerging for her. Mm-hmm. So something else has to move aside just temporarily while new things emerge. What do you think?
I could see that. And the fact that she is still singing for enjoyment of herself, she's just not putting it out in the world like she used to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that because I have to tell you I'm biased, I love her voice and I love seeing her use her voice to bring joy to other people. So I am hoping that she will do that for herself again. But I think at this point it's more of an internalized using of that gift to touch herself, to touch her own heart rather than touching somebody else's heart.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I was going to bring up, I know that you have sung in choruses much of your life, and so have I. And I don't any longer, but I sing to myself constantly. And, that's part of fueling our heart. So I'm really glad that you made that comment about the heart. That to sing is a reflection of a glee and a subconscious happiness that's running in the background in your life. And people who are accustomed to singing, they're going to voice it that way. It's going to come out naturally for them. So good for your daughter, but you'll probably see a lot of other things rising now at this point too. Which brings up a good point. To embrace your gifts and ignite your potential is to find your voice. There you go. Finding your voice, not only as a great singer, but as the way to express in the world. Through genuine and confident self-expression, you announce to the world who you are. how you put yourself out in the world, how the world sees you, is how you express your authenticity and your genuine nature. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. As I said earlier, dare to be different. Become the next great version of yourself. I think this is a great line. I think it's important to be content with where you are, but always have your sights on more. And I emphasize, being content with where you are, because it's in that joy and wellness that you're a springboard for more and more to come into your life. Which leads us into love. Love yourself. Trade the blockages of doubt and uncertainty for calm and confidence. Being truly happy, being yourself, generates self-esteem and confidence. We always come back to the self-esteem piece. Confidence is the anchor from which you expand and fill that void of infinite potential. How you feel about yourself and your worthiness to receive will reflect in all aspects of your life, your family, your job, your relationships, and your abundance. The importance of that, too, is that living from love and confidence takes away what I call the rough edges. It eliminates those uncertainties that you deal with and minimizes the peaks and valleys. Life just becomes softer. Life becomes fuller once you step into a genuine nature, once you step into confidence. And you become radiant when you radiate light, when you radiate love. When you have...
Linda, can I add on to that?
Oh, sure, please.
Sure. So I don't know if any of you all have seen the movie that's out now about the life of Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
I'm about to see it on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, so I saw it the other day with my sister. And it's called Won't You Be My Neighbor, and it's playing in all the major movie theaters now. And talk about somebody who was, I just got total body goosebumps actually thinking about it. But talk about somebody who was totally living within himself, and he knew his worthiness. His worthiness and his passion was about making the world a better place for children, and the love that he exuded through the television or when he met, anybody in person was just so genuine. And I was chit-chatting with someone today, and she said she had seen the movie, and it made her sad that she would never be as loving as Fred Rogers was. And my response was, there was only one Fred Rogers, and there's only one Judith Chapman, and that's you. So you just be the best Judith Chapman you can ever be. The Fred Rogers role was already taken, right? So whatever she totally brings to the table when she steps into her own energy and power and exudes her sense of self is exactly what the world needs, not another one of somebody else. So when you talk about that living from love and confidence, what a beautiful gift to bring to the world and to everybody in it, because we really just need one of everybody, who's standing in their own power in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. And it relates back to what we were saying earlier about, each of us is a unique spark that has never been before and will never be again. We all have this quality that is just so unique to us. This pearl of person that we are, and all we need to do is just step into our full radiance. Mm-hmm. And there's a glow. And when you see someone who has a glow about them, that glow comes from their heart. It's something that emanates. It's something that emanates from the inside, but you can see it on the outside. It's an energetic force that we all have potential to do. You become radiant when you radiate love, and it's a great way to remember to be. And we talk about walking with spirit. When you walk with spirit, you are a partner with a higher energetic force. Spirit expresses through you so it's invested in bringing the best to you. And it's important for all of us to remember that, we are God in action. We are getting away from that duality that we live in one plane and God is on another plane. God is a part of us and is always expressing through us. And we were created by this higher force to grow and to express and to live in joy. And to separate from this force is to be part of an incomplete picture. I sort of look at it as though you're just looking at your slice of the pie, but you're not seeing the whole. Once you become involved and interact and dance with your source, then you become a part of the entire picture. And then once you do that, once you start engaging with the force, you keep open that faucet of inspiration and abundance and health and joy. You keep that flowing through you. It's just a constant funnel. Open up, remove the blockages, and what I call being in a state of allowing. And you'll know you're engaged in a divine... Go ahead.
So I just wanted to give an example of that, because the name of my show is Walking with Spirit, and that's what we're talking about here at the moment. And last week we were talking about being in partnership with Spirit. And perfect example of that. Yesterday morning, I woke up early. Well, actually, I was woken up early. When I went to bed, I was thinking I really should wake up around 5 because I've got something to do at 7:30, and I really want to work on writing a manuscript for a book. So I set the alarm for 5, but then my daughter kept me up until 1, so I turned off the alarm for the 5 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock, I was almost like shaken out of bed, and I thought, what is this? And it was the Divine Mother. It was the craziest thing, because I was doing I'm really tired. I went to bed at 1 o'clock. I need just a little bit more sleep. And it was like I was being electrocuted energetically. And I finally went, okay, Divine Mother, is that you? And I muscle tested, and it was her. And it was like, get up. You wanted to write. Get up and write. So I got up and went into the other room, and Archangel Gabriel was right next to me. And when I write my books, I have like 200 stories that I've written from experiences through meditation, and then I just kind of plug them in the order of whatever I'm talking about in that chapter. And I went through each of those stories, and I asked Archangel Gabriel, does this go in this book? And if she said yes, then I would find out expressly which chapter it went in. And if it didn't go in the book, I just set it aside. There were actually a couple of them that I read through the order of the stories and asked if they were in the right order in that chapter. And if they weren't, then I would mix them around and re-ask. And by the end of the day, yesterday, I had the entire book with all of the stories in the exact order that Archangel Gabriel wants them in. So it was crazy. So talk about walking with Spirit and being a partner. It was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen.
And talk about allowing. So often we think that we're in charge. I'm in the process of writing a blog for next week called The Art of Allowing, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're allowing the presence to come through and work with you. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. I'll when my time comes. But how rewarding it must have been for you to know that you've got everything in perfect order and to have that validation. I think that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you. It was very fun, actually.
I'm going to talk about my next point comes up about being engaged with a divine presence. When your heart swells with divine presence, your energy expands. I have an experience. I have this experience, fairly often, but I had it really intensely this morning in meditation, where I come to a point where I become I step into what I call the oneness, when I become actually more energy than matter. And when this happens, I have difficulty breathing. And I was thinking this morning, one of the reasons I may have difficulty breathing when I'm in this state of oneness is that my heart is so swollen with the divine presence. And I just always reinforce that love and God are interchangeable.
Wow.
So
how profound is that?
Well, you have Divine Mother shaking you out of bed in the morning. And I'm getting into a point, I'm doing so much work with my heart right now. And it was a wonderful realization this morning that the more my heart swells, and we're going to talk about that when we get to exercises tonight. Expand and express. Absorb and express to create an energetic loop of prosperity. You and I are always talking about that energetic cycle, that energy operates in a complete cycle of almost like your breath, of inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. It rounds out your life and it fills up that void of potential that waits for you. So here you are in your now self. You have, a broader potential that's there. As you express and create this energetic cycle, the more you fill that void, the more creativity and joy and brilliance and intelligence comes into your life. You perpetuate the cycle and draw in even more goodness to you in a constant outpour and inflow. And by the way, I want to mention that when you support and mentor others, this is a great reinforcement of the cycle. You and I are great reinforcers of one another's work, but stepping out and supporting other people, mentoring other people, that's a great way to reinforce this cycle. Let's talk a minute also what I call suppression of the psyche. If you have this expression that wants to pour out of your life, when you suppress that, in my opinion, that's one of the main causes of mood disorders, of depression or anxiety. And I just think it's just always important to keep in mind that the more you exhale, the more you inhale. Allow, and you absorb more. And then realization by realization.
Hey, Linda, we have a caller. Would you be interested in fielding a question? So,
absolutely.
Okay, Claudia, we'll take a caller. Claudia? Hello, caller. Are you there? What's your name and where are you calling from?
We don't have a connection with our caller.
I'm not sure. Area code 646, are you there?
Why don't I go ahead and read for a bit, and our caller can tap in on Facebook, perhaps, if her connection is not good. All right. Caller, I am very, very sorry, but I'll go ahead and stab through, and you can interrupt me when you have the connection.
Okay.
All right. Continuing on, realization by realization. Each step feeds the next in an ever-escalating ladder of growth and expansion. What I mean by this is when you think a higher thought, you have greater expression. And through greater expression, you have even higher thoughts. And then it continues on and on and on. One of the other things I think is really lovely is that the effects of this are immediate. When you change your thoughts and you allow this escalation to occur, you can notice a difference right away in your life. And we already touched on this a bit. We are here to be the fullest expression of the God force within us. We are spirit expressing through us. And again, my guide continuously reinforces, we are one, do not separate from me. We are one, come dance with me. And I always keep that in my mind. We honor spirit in this process of creation by becoming our fullest selves. Engage, expand, and express, and you become the next great version of your spirit self. And again, you come back into that sweet spot of life, but I love that. Become the next great version of yourself.
And Linda, can I add on that? The next great version of your spirit self. it might look different 2 minutes from now. It doesn't have to be something in like 2 or 3 months. It literally could be in 3 minutes, you're going to be a better version of the you that you were 3 minutes ago.
And that's the joy of this work, because as you continue to breathe in and exhale, as you continue to be bright and vibrant in who you are, and to put that out in the world, the more vibrancy comes to you. And that vibrancy might look different. There might be a different energetic frequency. As you raise your frequency, new frequencies are going to come through to you, and those frequencies are always going to carry information. I guess that's the best way that I would explain that. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And this is something that you and I have talked about before. I have learned that when you step up to the plate and invest your time and interest, the universe invests time and interest in you. This is where those synchronicities in life come from. The people I meet, information that comes to my attention, opportunities and scholarships, they all are pointing me in the right direction and feeding the work that I've come here to do. This is my showing interest in the universe, stepping up to the plate and say, yes, I take on the mantle of this task, and the universe steps up and matches me, and just, it's almost like dealing out cards to me, dealing out cards of opportunity. And the more I step up, the more I'm being fed a full hand there. I think it's a great analogy. It's always being fed to us. When you accept the invitation to dance with your source, even the most subtle changes will bring enormous results. Practice and you become a craftsman, and I think that's an important point. It gets better and better and better as your skill increases. Follow your inner impulses, that tug on your sleeve, your intuition, all the wisdom of your heart. Again, follow your inner impulses, that tug on your sleeve, your intuition, and follow the wisdom of your heart. Your heart actually has neural cells, brain cells, and they're finding that most of your information comes from your heart and is first, and is then fed to your brain. Another reason to be heart-centered. And this changes. One of my first spiritual leaders, her name was Ellen Tan, and she taught me that it's just a pivot of attitude away. You have a thought, you have a belief, you have an attitude that's set on a certain course. All you need to do is pivot that a little bit, and little changes will come your way. What you focus on determines what you attract into your life. We call it the power of thought, law of attraction, science of mind, cognitive thinking. We live in a universe of energy that is steered by our thoughts. If you focus on what you don't like about yourself, I'm going to say this again. If you focus on what you don't like about yourself, you will attract more of the same to you. Focus on what you desire, and you become a co-creator of your life. And co-creation means that the universe is answering your desire. Again, walk with spirit and be a part of this flow of abundance. I say open, ask, listen, and discover. As your skill increases, so do the rewards. And I'm going to skip right ahead to our takeaway. Again, I receive this repeated theme. We are one. Come dance with me. I encourage everybody to show up, shout it out, take the plunge, go out on a limb, put on your cape, read your poetry to the trees, and make your whole life a dance with spirit. When you reach out and you teach others, if you have to communicate something to someone else, you first have to know it very thoroughly yourself. So it's another advantage of reaching out. And you'll always be rewarded with another rung up the ladder of personal growth. And the key to this success is living your life focused from your heart and not your brain. Know and love who you are. This is a wrap-up. Know and love who you are. Send love down through your core morning and evening every day. This is a great practice, and I still use this regularly. It is the most essential and basic skill. You embrace your power when you embrace yourself. The second part of the wrap-up, enlist your higher power as your partner. Create the dance with high-frequency practices. We know those to be meditation, inspiration, expressing only positive thoughts, beliefs, and mental attitudes, love, joy, and just observe. The more you're in the presence of the divine, it shows up in your life and it enriches your life. And number 3 is to give back. Support others, support your community, and most of all, express gratitude. You become a maestro of an energetic loop that says, give me more. And then I have to enforce that this doesn't happen via osmosis. You have to do the work. Like any skill and practice, it has to be applied, practiced, and perfected. But it becomes part of your life, not something that is separate from your life. It's a joy-filled investment. My guide once said to me, hold out your basket and let the universe fill it. So, exercises. I call these confidence, consciousness, and connectedness. Confidence. Pour love down through your core as a morning and evening practice. Consciousness. Breathe through your heart as a meditation practice, and you elevate above the everyday. We've talked a lot tonight about the importance of the heart, and this is a perfect way to create consciousness along with your meditation practice. And then connectedness. You go into heart-brain coherence and expand your energy and connect with the unified field. If you haven't practiced this, go into your heart first and feel that calm and that peace, and then bring in the energy of your mind and feel them both interacting together in a coherence. When you do this, you'll feel a huge boost and an expansion in your energy. And that expansion in your energy is your connection. They say that the heart is your most direct connection to the unified field. And I've said before that your heart is always the highest frequency. That's what. And I want to share this quote that my guide sent to me a long time ago, and I keep it near and dear to my heart. It says, lighten up, don't be so hard on yourself, and have fun on this journey. Keep that in mind, everybody. Just have a good time. Ruth, do you have anything else to add? I know we're going to have to wrap up in a few minutes.
Yeah, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes. Can you demonstrate for us? I know we did it last week or the week before, but sending love down through your core, because you're suggesting we do this in the morning and the evening. So can you? We've got 5 minutes, Claudia says. So can you just do that with us real quick?
I think when somebody works with love, it's easy for them to suddenly come into that space, come into that love space. If you're not accustomed to working with love, working with the frequencies, I call them, I experience them more as frequencies: love, gratitude, joy. If you're not accustomed to dealing with that frequency of love, of calling it instantly into you, then one of the best things to do is to focus love on an external object, a person, your pet, something in your house that you're particularly fond of. Focus and use that as a tool to invoke that frequency of love, and then hold it above you as though it's a bubble, and then let the bubble release. And just let the emotion of love, let the frequency pour down through you. And as you do, it expands your energy, it increases your frequency, but also as it pours down through you, it's going to touch on each of your energy centers, each of your chakra centers. And as it does, it's going to light up your energy in each of these areas that goes down through. I suppose that's one of the reasons why it expands your energy field so rapidly. But again, when you're dealing with frequencies, you're dealing with an energy field, and the whole, your ultimate goal always is to raise your frequency and become a closer match to that universal field, and to become a closer match. That universal field, the universe is bursting with abundance, wellness, and joy, what I call just bounty. And all that bounty is feeding down into you when you come into a higher frequency. It's like you working with Divine Mother. You already are in an extremely high frequency, and that's why you have this knowledge just pouring through you. If you were to sit down and organize 200 stories first of all, to weed them, and then to organize them into a logical progression, operating solely on your own kind of a lesser physical frequency without the aid of the higher frequency of Divine Mother, that's nose to the grindstone work that would not be inspired and would take you, forever of almost like manual labor to put that together. But when you raise your frequency, then you're partnering with Divine Mother. Then you are partnering with that greater force coming through you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it does. And, it reminded me, too, because we were talking about love today and bringing that down. You can also do it by imagining a green, because green is the color of the heart chakra. Bring a green light down throughout your body, too.
Yes, of course. Picturing colors. Picturing colors is a real skill. That's also something that I was taught when I was studying clairvoyance. The ability to picture colors is a great skill to practice. So if you can picture that green color again, that will also light up your heart. I talk about sitting in and being genuine, being unique, and it comes to a point where you acquire almost a comfort. People call it a flow to life. It's a comfort. It's something that has ease and grace and bliss and a little bit power to it. It's almost what I call like slipping into a comfortable slipper. It's something that really fits, and when you're there, you step into the next stage, and that's what I call finding the ruby slippers. I had great joy in telling one of my friends what it was like when my life just really turned around, and I knew that I had stepped into a new life and I had really found the ruby slippers. So here we are with these opportunities with you and I and Claudia to click the heels of our ruby slippers and pass that knowledge on to other people. That's what we're here for.
Beautiful. And Linda, we need to cut it short, but may I just say, you are a pair of ruby slippers for me, because the comfort is right there. So anyway,
bless you, my love.
I want to thank you so much for the last 5 weeks. It's been a beautiful experience doing this with you, and I so appreciate everything that you brought to us. I know we're out of time for tonight, but I want to thank you all for joining us, and I look forward to walking with Spirit and you next Thursday, July 12, 2018. God bless and good night.